At the rate we're going, it won't be long before people start questioning if this really is the end of the world. I have no doubt there are some people already pondering this, but thankfully, as of this recording, the news stations haven't started pushing this narrative yet, and don't count on that happening anytime soon because this pandemic isn't the end of the world, as it's really only affecting humans. With that being said, today on Life's Biggest Questions, we'll be tackling the question, how to prepare for the end of the world. How's it going, guys? I'm your host, Jared Bronstein, and let me start by saying I hope you're staying safe during these crazy times. Feel free to drop us some comments below with questions you'd like answered, and stick around until the end of this one to see if I replied to your comments from a previous video. As always, make sure to like this video, share it with a friend, and of course subscribe to never miss a video. But for now, we gotta get right into this one and let you know how to prepare for the end of the world. Now, there are many ways the world could end hypothetically, and depending on how this were to happen, determines how someone should prepare for it. Although for the most part, you'd want all the same items, depending on the reasoning for the world's ending, would slightly alter the importance of specific things. Example being, if you were caught up in a zombie apocalypse compared to a hurricane half the size of the planet, you'd probably move differently. That being said, there are things we all need to survive regardless of what's happening, such as food, water, and shelter. And in a perfect world, we'd all have underground shelters or bunkers in case of emergency, filled with non-perishable food items and tons of water. Unfortunately, not everyone has such a luxury, but that's alright, because we've got you guys covered here on LBQ. First things first, you'd want to stock up on gallons of water and non-perishable foods such as beans, rice, nuts, canned fruits, oats, noodles, and jerky. Anything that requires a fridge or freezer is a no-go, assuming you won't have power for very long. Which brings us to our next point. Laptops, cell phones, tablets, none of them are going to be working much longer. The internet will be shut off before you can post your next selfie, which means you'd want to stock up on batteries, as well as things such as carbon monoxide and smoke detectors, walkie-talkies, flashlights, and battery-powered heaters. Think about everyday essentials you normally don't think much about. Nail clippers, toothpaste, toilet paper, alcohol, band-aids, the list can go on, and these are also all things you'd want to have in case the world was ending. You'd also need a sleeping bag, and a bag that can carry absolute essentials just in case you'd have to live on the move. Now here's the good news. The world isn't ending just yet, and you can decide what is absolutely essential to help you live on the move if need be. But there are plenty of other ways to prepare for the end of the world now, starting today, to give yourself the best possibility to survive should you ever have to. You know, Darwin said it's not the smartest or the strongest that survive, but those who can adapt the best. People get desperate during crazy times, and as I'm sure you've seen already, there have been countless fights over toilet paper. Now imagine what people would do over things that are actually essential to our everyday life, such as food or water. Now it's easy for people to say, just buy a gun for protection and you're set, but that's not very realistic. For the average person who's never used a gun in their life before, well, they would have a tough time not only loading, but actually firing and properly aiming a gun in the first place. In a state of panic or fearing for their own lives, it would be even harder. This is where self-defense training would come in. Learning enough fighting skills such as boxing, wrestling, sambo, karate, judo, the list goes on and on. Well, that would be incredibly useful. Now, I know all the gun lovers will argue that a gun can protect them against anything, and I'm not here to argue that. But when ammo is hard to come by, or your gun jams, you'll want to know how to protect yourself using hand-to-hand combat. Aside from the desperate people who may try to rob you for supplies, you'd also need to consider it's possible you'd be living among the wildlife. Depending where you decided to settle down, or if you were constantly on the move, you would need to be sure you had the ability to defend yourself if need be. Aside from this, you'd also want to be in the best possible shape of your life, meaning you should get a gym membership now. And this has nothing to do with self-defense, but more so being able to lift your own body weight, or move things if necessary. If for whatever reason you had to climb a fence or move heavy objects to build yourself a shelter, you'd want to be in shape to do so. If an animal you couldn't fend off was in pursuit of you, odds are you wouldn't want to gas out and risk losing an arm, leg, or possibly your life because you don't have the best cardio. Meaning a good way to prepare for the end of the world is to jump on a bike or the treadmill and work on your cardio. I know I need to. Aside from what was just mentioned, there are other skills that you should learn to master while you still have the time. Starting a fire from scratch, reading a compass, learning how to treat a wound without a first aid kit. Thankfully, with hours of practice and internet access, you can teach yourself how to do all these things so by the time the world actually does come to an end, you will be incredibly prepared. Alternatively, you can just hope that you never find yourself in a position where you need to put all of these skills to use and the world isn't ending. Now, given the current state of the world, although it's not ending, I still don't feel it would necessarily be a bad thing to consider some of the things previously mentioned. As we know, everyone's been stocking up on toilet paper, but maybe learning some life skills like starting a fire from scratch or even working out at home can help put you ahead of a good majority of the world's population worst case scenario. Another point we got to talk about, unfortunately, is that as a society, we've become incredibly reliant on technology. Personally, I use the Waze app to get to work every day to show me the fastest route. I know how to get there without the app, but why not use it if I can? And this has actually become a habit for me. Now, I will say this video is not sponsored by Waze, but, you know, if you want to throw me some coin, I wouldn't mind. Point being, the same goes for me using my phone as a timer. When I'm cooking something, I'll just use my phone as a timer to let me know when my food's ready or when it's been 5 or 10 minutes. These are just a couple of examples from my personal life pertaining to how much we rely on technology. So imagine life without technology, or much electricity at all. As crazy as it may sound, even learning how to live without technology for a few days could help you prepare, just to show yourself how much you rely on some electronics every day without realizing. If you really want to see what life would be like, go out, buy a tent, and live in your backyard for a few days or even a week. It's not the most luxurious way to live, but when you're just trying to survive, you don't tend to think much about luxury. Now, I'm not a Boy Scout, nor do I have any experience navigating my way through an apocalypse, but with that being said, if you were to take into consideration any of the points I just made, you'd be giving yourself quite the advantage over the average person. Yet, in times like these, we all need to come together and support each other. At the end of the day, we're all we got when things go crazy. So let's remember that and help one another rather than tear each other down. That does it for me, but as always, I want you guys to let me know in the comments below what the most important things would be to have in case of the end of the world. If you could take 3 things, what would they be? Let me know in the comments below. For now, let's reply to some comments from the video. Who started the COVID-19 virus? Leo the Wolf, SFM, and Animation said, who started the COVID-19? Me as an intellectual, Ice Age, baby. I don't know. I don't think this is our Ice Age. This is not going to wipe out the entire Earth and humanity and everything living. Yeah, that's just not going to happen. If you actually look at the statistics and you see how many people have recovered from it, compared to the amount of people that have died, a lot of people are getting the virus, but a lot of people are also recovering, so this is not going to wipe out humanity and everything on Earth. But we are expected to have an ice age in like a few, I think, 100 million years or something. I don't know. Don't quote me on that, but sometime soon there's an ice age that'll kill all of us. We won't be around, but you know, our future generations will, so good luck to them, I guess. Chewy Kitten said, normal sick people stays in bed. People with corona, I will travel across the land searching far and wide. I don't understand why it's so hard for people to stay quarantined. I actually just got back from Los Angeles and I'm staying quarantined for 14 days. But we're still bringing you guys the content because that's what we do. Because we care about the people. See, guys? Bet you didn't know that. We care about you. DC Comics New 52 said, let's be honest, the government made this for population control. Again, I think that's such an easy way. Like, I think that's just such a cop-out. Like, I don't think that's the case at all. There's other ways they could do it. They could put stuff in our food. Like, this is just too obvious. This is too obvious of a way to control the population. Put stuff in the water, put stuff in the food. There's other ways. This is too obvious, so I disagree. Lucas Maldonado said, how do they test a person having corona, lol? It's literally a slightly worse common cold. Probably a blood test. I'll be honest, I don't know exactly how they test people, but I would say probably a blood test. There's ways to tell if you have like a virus or a disease or certain things, right? So they know what the strain of, I guess, virus looks like, the DNA. I don't know what you'd call it. I'm not a scientist here, guys, but they know what it looks like. They probably check your blood and be like, oh, we see it there. You know, it's like finding Waldo, except the coronavirus instead. Hello, Mr. Pro said, everyone panic. God damn it. That's the one thing they shouldn't do, and now everyone's panicking because of you, Mr. Pro. So I hope you're happy with your decision to do what you just did. You just made everyone panic, and now the world's going nuts because of you. SCY._ said, just let it spread and kill millions of people. It will be good for climate change. So this is actually something I'm very surprised people aren't speaking more about, at least that I've seen online. First of all, I don't want to say you're wrong because you might be right, but it's not a good reason to kill off people. But second of all, everyone's like stocking up on bottled water and toilet paper and this and that. Like, can we talk about how much trash there's going to be for the next 2 weeks? I know in comparison to spreading the virus, it's not as important. But I mean, like, I guarantee you a good majority of these people aren't going to be recycling. So it's just going to be so much wasted material, and it's just going to be so bad for the environment. And that's also something we need to consider while we quarantine ourselves for these 2 weeks. If you're doing that, if your country has gone into an emergency, just saying, think about that. Think about recycling and disposing of your stuff properly, because it's going to be a mess in the next month or so. I'm going to wrap this one up. You guys have been watching Life's Biggest Questions. I've been your host, Jared Bronstein. All joking aside, I really do hope you guys stay safe. Make sure to wash your hands. No need to panic. It's okay. Everything will be okay. Although this is quite a serious virus going around the world, they are working very hard. Health professionals are working very hard to find a cure, and hopefully they'll find one sooner than later. But until then, just make sure you guys follow your local government health procedures and wash your hands. Keep some social distance. Don't touch your face. Don't put your hands in your mouth. You guys know, like, just stuff that is normal. So just take Take care of yourselves, and we'll see you guys soon. All the best.